person. He's that kind of guy. And his Samus is pretty solid. It's been nasty for quite a while.
Yeah. I remember I met him at a CEO like 5 or 6 years ago, very, very long time. He taught me a Samus technique about the where you jab twice and then you do the control stick diagonally to the left to get the triple first jab instead of going into the third jab. And he was just super polite and very nice. So let's see if that happens here. So the double up B is clinking with each other and hitting each other, getting the trade on the up Bs. So a lot of the time, when talking about Samus into any matchup really, you hear that she's very floaty, very much a tank, and pretty patient, getting 1 or 2 hits at a time, and not really doing a lot of very long combos against, unless it's against like a Spacey or edge guarding a Marth or something. Samus actually has a very strong punish game on Samus. A lot of her moves, like bomb into Nair, combo pretty well. Also, Dope just took that entire stock.
Yeah, that's the cleanest stock I've seen in a hot minute, man.
Yeah. Great tech also on the down smash to go to the other side of the stage and not get caught up in the air. Because Samus is a pretty difficult time landing. And if you are able to get the other Samus in the air, you can keep her in the air for a while with Nair or forward air or even bomb resets. So it's interesting to see how this, this plays out between these 2 different Samus play styles as we are looking right now.
Yeah, I think just in general, when you look at a ditto of any match, you often find that like the two, like in a ditto, the 2 characters are so good at comboing each other, it almost feels like just by accident, every single ditto I can think of, except for maybe the Puff ditto, is like just so kind of volatile, so kind of scrappy. And Samus isn't always that way. I believe, like, don't you play Samus a bit?
I used to main Samus, and I've played Samus a decent amount, and I do agree with everything you're saying, in which, like, most dittos are pretty scrappy, and the Samus ditto is no stranger to it either. I mean, you see these 2 players just running at each other, throwing out tilts. I mean, Dope just jumping off stage to catch the tether to the ledge, but isn't able to get a kill off of it.
So, yeah, as someone who used to play the character, who had a lot of experience even now playing, like, what is Samus kind of like looking for as sort of her main combo opener to kind of get people started, especially at the low percents?
You definitely want to get Samus in the air. Samus has a pretty difficult time landing, and you can see a lot of the time they're going for run-up grab to try to catch Samus shielding, because if you don't shield, you get run-up dash attacks, run-up down smash, even run-up is getting hit by a tilt. There was the run-up dash attack over there, and it sends Samus into the air, where you can then use missiles, either the hard missile or the soft missile, or an array of aerials to keep Samus in the air or send her off stage to a death.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, obviously we see Dope, with a very solid lead. I think this is one of those matchups where, like, even though ElocL or ElocL probably has a decent amount of experience in the game, obviously kind of holding his own against Dope, even if he's at a deficit. I would imagine you don't have that much practice with this matchup, whereas Dope has been around for like basically a decade, so he's probably not just like the more experienced player, he's probably much more experienced in this specific matchup as well.
Yeah, and also in general, this matchup, like, floaty matchups in general are very difficult to, like, very dominantly, like, 2 or 3 stock someone, unless you are significantly better than the opponent. And you can kind of see it here. I mean, Dope looks like the better player right now, but it's still pretty close.
Yeah, it really is. Like, this is the funny thing about Melee, is that, like, you often see someone in Twitch chat, yeah, look at Dope, not
smiling,
that's what I mean.
The
like,
positive disposition, yeah, having a good time.
Yeah, he's always kind of a natural, like, planner, someone who's just like a party host kind of thing. It makes sense. I feel like a lot of TOs are like that. They just like bringing people together.
Go wherever, man.
Go wherever, man.
So polite.
Pokemon.
We're going to the Pokemon Stadium, the stage with the missiles. So there's a little technique that Samus can do where she can drop under the side platform, missile, and then missile again on the side platform, and launch an array of missiles that make it very difficult for Samus or other characters to deal with.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that you kind of hear in a lot of matchups that comes up. Just sort of a, not an obscure Samus tech, but kind of like a stage-specific Samus tech that is pretty relevant.
Also, a very clean stock from ElocL. Dope kind of SDing at the end, but there's the missiles I was talking about earlier too. Just the missile spam that you can do on the stage. But ElocL doing a pretty good job. He caught Dope with an up tilt near the ledge. You know the thing with like Falcon and the up tilts where you're not supposed to up tilt in the Falcon ditto? Samus doesn't care. She's just gonna up tilt anyway. And Samus's up tilt is very similar to Falcon's, both in animation and similar, better distron actually.
Yeah.
And it's very good at keeping Samus off stage and covering a lot of Samus's options while recovering. So you're gonna see a lot of that when Samus is edge guarding.
One of the funny things about kind of being in this modern era where a lot of people are not kind of meeting together at tournaments, but are rather playing on Slippy, is some of those kind of like interpersonal traditions, like no chain grabs or, you know, no falcon up tilt when you're edge guarding, are really just completely dying off, you know? Like, obviously we saw the chain grabs with Sheik kind of go away a little bit earlier, but I think there's something about when you're going to an in-person event like this one, you know, there's that more like personal connection. They say like, hey, don't up tilt, and you're like, sure, peer pressure. Whereas I feel like there's so many things, if you were to ask a kid who just started playing like in 2020, 2021, they'd never hear of like, oh, you're not supposed to up tilt there, because that's kind of like a social faux pas kind of thing.
I mean, we're Panda Cup, you know? You gotta get those points.
Yeah, it's true, exactly.
The points don't care if you up tilt or not.
I don't even think when it comes to the Falcon up tilt too, like, it's not even like the best option he has in terms of like kind of cheesiness. Like even just like a back air from the ledge can be just as annoying.
Yeah.
So I've never understood that one, even when it was kind of like generally accepted, I guess.
It's just social convention.
Yeah.
Missile to the face will take that stock for ElocL. Dope has quietly brought this back actually after being at a deficit at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, you know, I think really important.
Oh, that was so clean. I really love that. He actually tanks the Zair on ElocL's part and is able to nair after because Samus only has so many limited options once committing to the tether.
Nice FB out of shield in the corner as well, and then swapping positions to get that stage control. Obviously, ElocL doing a good job of kind of zoning with missiles, but I think Dope's commitment to center stage is part of the reason why he has the lead that he does, in spite of that SD.
Both of them are utilizing a lot of run-up grab right now because Samus has been, like both of the Samuses definitely want to just shield because if they get hit by a dash attack or a tilt, they're either safe on shield and while they're shielding, or it's very heavily punishable if they get dash attacked and you can up out a shield. Which is why I think a lot of them are going for these run-up shield or run-up grabs and getting their opponent into the air.
Yeah, it's funny because you don't see Samus's grab as much in every other matchup. Obviously, it's one of the slowest grabs in the game, kind of a committal thing, which really makes shielding a lot better than it normally would be. Yeah,
and in the last like 10 seconds or so, both of those players, they actually jumped out of shield instead of getting grabbed. And then both of the players also adapted. And it's going to be Dope who takes it.
Yeah.
As a result of those adaptations.
Makes sense. Definitely the like expected winner of that match. But I feel like if you're ElocL, you walk away from that feeling not too bad. I think you put up a good fight. You know, overall, I feel like they played pretty well. So.
Yeah, good stuff. You're gonna go home and get some good analysis, good tips. Maybe even DM Dope and be like, let's go analyze this Samus buddy.
I mean, like there's always a bit of a tribalism kind of thing with people who play like more niche characters. You know, like I know, for example, with the Peaches in Melee,